This is an important video, so it goes in depth. We've broken it into sections to help you through it. First, we'll show you how to track policies and commissions, detailing the agent experience of adding the policies into the client record. Then, we'll go into how admins can use the commission module. Finally, we'll cover how admins can set up the carrier's products and commission structures. Buckle in. How agents track policies for their clients. Let's first look at how an agent will enter the carrier product details for the client or lead so you can understand how this will look to an agent. Then we're going to dive into the rest. The agent experience. Once the carriers and products are set up by the account admin, they will look like this. The agent will then go into a lead or client file and to the Policies tab. They'll enter in the policy's coverage type, policy status, carrier, product, effective date, renewal date, application date, and any other data you want them to capture. We'll cover customizing policy fields later in the video, but these data points are essential to generating any workflows or sales tracking that you want to do. Once the client is confirmed, the agent will convert to client, update the record status to active, and then go into the Policy tab to update the policy status and the policy number or customer number. This is critical if you want to use commission reconciliation, as the carrier statements will match based on either the policy or customer number. You may wonder, why do I need the coverage type and status in this policy since I already have that in the leader client information page? Good question. The answer is because you might have had a lead who's primarily interested in Medicare, but then you quote them an MAPD policy. Once they're converted into a client with an active status, that might be an MAPD policy that wasn't accepted, so we'll mark that status as declined by carrier. However, we did get them set up with a supplement policy that's now in force. And as you work with that client over years, they'll always be an active client, but their policies will most likely change status, and you want to keep track of it all. The big takeaway: once the policy is accepted, update the policy status, the policy and customer numbers, and any other relevant details so it's fully tracked and fully functional. If you need to override the commission or renewal amounts for this policy, do so by clicking Override. Do this with caution, though, as it will affect the commission module from generating any updates from the product setup. Bonuses can be positive or negative amounts. Anything else you need to add in? Save. Once you've entered and saved the policy information, the commission module for that policy will generate. You can click on each product's commission to access it, or click the options to edit, view commissions. You could also delete, but we would never recommend that, unless you accidentally entered it in twice. As always in Radius, if you delete something, in this case a policy, it's gone. Better to change the policy status to canceled. Then you have your historical commissions for that policy captured and stored. Let's choose to see commissions for this policy. You'll see on the left-hand columns the projected payments and amounts per the structure that you've set up on the product level, plus the premium and the effective date. Now you can enter in when and how much you actually got paid on the right columns. If this is a product that you get paid in advance on, this is where you'd enter that information. When the client confirms renewal of the plan, or if it rolls over, check the renewal date is correct. Update the current year if not. Then in commissions, hit Generate Renewals. You do need to update the renewal date each year for it to calculate for the correct year. If a policy is 2 years old, it might have a different commission rate than if it's a 20-year-old policy. We'll see this in action when we look at setting up commissions based on tier years later in the Admin Setup section. While it's helpful to enter in commissions manually, it would be so much more fun to have Radius do that for you. So let's look at the Commission Statement Import module. Commission Statement Import module. Now we'll review how the Commission Statement Import module works. Only admins have access to seeing this module and uploading carrier statements. However, if agents want to keep watching, it might be helpful to understand why the policy details you enter are so critical. Click on the Commissions on the left sidebar. Hit Import from File. Select the carrier, then attach their statement by hitting Browse. It must be either a CSV or an Excel file. Hit Save and Analyze. You'll now see a few example rows, so you can tell that the document is being read properly. See how it's finding the member number and mapping it in blue below? That's the most crucial part of mapping. And then we have the statement date and the commission amount. If you don't see any mapping in blue for your spreadsheet, contact us on the Help App ticket system and let us know the carrier name and give us the header row. We'll get that carrier mapped. Now, let's hit Start Commission Import. We're brought into the reconciliation section now. If it looks all good, hit Save Commissions at the bottom of the page. If you need to double check or edit anything, you have options to view the row from the carrier statement here, and then you can edit the person's product within Radius or view their commission statement here. If you haven't hit Generate Renewals for that person, you can add in their new renewal date and hit Generate Renewals so you see the projected amount for that year as well as the received commissions. If you see the error, No client match found for import, it's because the customer or policy number is not associated with the product. Click this plus sign to add in the client and/or policy. Please watch the full video on adding clients and policies from the commission statement import for full details. You can delete any rows you don't want imported by hitting the X here. You can manually add commissions to the system by hitting Add Commission. Save. Reconciling commissions with the revenue report. Once you've imported your statements, you can go to Reports, Revenue Report. Set up a revenue report for the carrier and/or month or whatever time frame you like. If you hit Run, you'll just see an overview of the projected versus the actual received. However, if you hit Download, you'll get a play-by-play of which policies were expected to have commission, how much, and what commission you received on that policy and when. If someone is listed as only expecting commission payment but not showing received payment, you should call the carrier to get an explanation of the discrepancy. So that was an overview of how to track policies and commissions. Now, let's dive into how to get the carrier's products and commission structures set up. This part is only for the admins, so agent-level users don't need to keep going, unless you're simply fascinated now. Setting up carriers. There is a shortcut available to adding in a list of carriers and products. It will bring in all of those products as a default with a flat rate of 0. So after me showing you this trick, you'll still want to watch the rest of the video to make the right choice for you, whether to use this trick or not. And you'll still want to know the rest of your options in Carrier's product setup. Okay, here's the shortcut. Prepare a spreadsheet where the first column is carrier names and the second column is product names. You can even have duplicates in this file. It will ignore any exact matches. So you could grab a spreadsheet that lists all of your clients' carriers and products names and use that to build this simple list. Once done, go to Settings. Products. You'll see an option to import. Upload the file. Hit Import Carriers and Products. You will still need to edit the carrier details manually and set the commission splits if you want them. So now let's look at a more thorough way to do this. Go to Settings. Carriers. Click Edit. Click Add Carrier. You can add one at a time here, but I like pasting my list of carriers to easily import. Hit Create. If you like, you can go in and edit the carrier so that you can add in contact information, carrier documents and links. You can track notes, set information, add contacts, documents, web links. This is an especially helpful tool if you have a large team because your whole team will have access to any of the information you've assigned to that carrier. You can also choose where to display that information. By checking Agent Access on the document or link, it will appear in the Carrier Info section on the left. The Lead Client View page will show on the lead or client's files, and the email screen allows it to be available as an attachment for email purposes. Let's add a document. I'll select all of those so we can show you where they appear. Choose a category. I'll select Carrier Document, assign it to a specific product you've set up, or assign it to all products. Since this is a carrier document, I'll assign it to all products. Click Attach File. Now we see it here in Carrier Info on the left side panel. In a Records Files tab, it will appear once we've assigned them that product. And on the email options in Send Email. It will also be available for any email template creation. Simply look for the special links when adding an attachment. Now you've got carriers done. I told you that was so easy. On to products. Setting up products. Go to Settings. Products, Commissions, and Renewals, Edit. Please note that one of the features of Radius's AMS plan is enhanced commissions. That includes commission splits and matrices. First, we'll show the basic product options, and then we'll go into the AMS Enhanced Commissions Features option. The basic setup that we'll cover first is also available to AMS plan holders, so do not skip this part. Add product. Choose the carrier and enter a list of the product names you want to associate with that carrier. Sometimes people get confused between the product name and the coverage type. In Radius, The coverage type would be MAPD, for example, but the product might be Plan G, or even something like MAPD-1523-WI. When in doubt, use the product naming convention that the carrier uses. Set the commissions and renewals at the product level here. If you just want to get your product set up so you can import your book of business and have the carriers and products match up when you do, a quick trick is to just put in a flat rate of 0 for the commissions and renewals for all of these. You can set the applicable region, either for everyone, for specific states, or for specific counties, and save. Note that the system will ignore any duplicate products I almost create. We have those products in, but you'll most likely want to go in and specifically set up commission and renewal rates for real tracking. This is where it goes in depth. Determine if the commission is paid monthly, yearly, or every X months. Note, if you get an advance for this product, you'll still enter it on the product level as monthly, and on the client level, you will show it as the lump sum that you get. This is for the overall product structure only in this section, so we're not setting advances yet. Now determine if the structure is a flat fee, percentage of premium, commissionable premiums, prorated calendar years for products such as Medicare Advantage, or tier years. Let's do this as tier years. We'll set the average premium for this product. Again, this is only at the product level. We'll set the actual premium at the client level. The average default premium is just going to help you with projections when you assign a product to a lead that you're quoting, or if there's a standardized premium. Determine if that premium is paid monthly or annually. You can prorate the first year for this product so that if the effective date is 6/1, it will prorate the annual amount of that first year against that date. You can choose flat rate if needed. The default is percentages. Enter the first year, let's say that is 75%. The next 4 years are 60, and everything else after that is 35%. So we'll put in 100 years, since that will most likely carry them through their lifetime of that policy. Or if we click flat rate, we could enter it with dollar amounts of commission. Determine whether the product is available for everyone nationwide, only for specific states, or only specific counties. Save. Let's look at other commission structures. Flat fee is pretty straightforward. Just note that you'll need to enter the annualized commission renewal amounts, even if you've selected that you're going to get paid monthly on it above. Percentage of premium. Set the percentage for the first year in the commission amount. Determine if that's a monthly or annual calculation here. Then set the percentage of premium for renewals. If there's a non-commissionable amount, like the first $100 of the premium is exempt, enter that here. Set a default average premium here. Commissionable premiums is kind of the reverse of that. Instead, you'd have a default average premium paid monthly or annually, then state how much of that premium you can claim commission against. This is usually for large policies where there's a cap. Determine your commission percentage. Prorated calendar premiums will prorate the annualized flat rate and renewals for you based on the policy's effective date. Per member is deceptive. We're used to per member per month, but see here how it's that annualized amount still. It will then be split into monthly commissions so long as you choose monthly in the commission structure above. So if it's $20 per member per month, I would enter $240 here and then see it calculating projections for a member count of 1 at $240 for the year, 2 at $480, and so on. So if you had 12 members, it'll multiply it by 12. We just gave you some examples here. And remember, always save. If you have downline teams created, you can set agency-specific commissions here. This is only for multi-user accounts that have created downline agencies and assigned their users to those agencies. You can edit your products at any time. Historical data will be maintained in the client policy commissions, but any updated renewal rates will apply if that policy gets renewed. Enhanced commission structures. Now for the AMS account holders. You can create commission splits and matrices. Let's look at a couple of examples. In Settings, Products, Commissions, and Renewals, Edit, click on Commission Matrices and hit Add Matrix. If you sell a product like MAPD, you'll know that the commission rates are fairly standard across carriers and even across states. So let's create an MAPD NV, AZ, NM matrix. Apply the relevant products. You'll notice I can select products from any carriers here. Set the commission payments to monthly, yearly, or every X months. Determine if you want the flexibility of the per-sell override, so you can tweak commission payment projections in each policy. If not, leave that unchecked. Determine the commission structure. This is where it gets different and way cool. So, well, cool if you're an insurance agent who loves their commissions. It's way cool. Hit Manage Criteria. You can set the applicable effective date range. And add another level to set up the custom product field options. I'm going to choose from my cell table and set this up for New to Medicare. I'll enter in commission and renewal amounts. So year 1, I get $615, and on renewal, I get $315. I can set the commission splits by changing 100% assigned to agent. Click here. Add recipient. Determine if it's a percentage, or if you want to do a flat rate, you can uncheck subject to proration, and they'll become flat rates. Let's set the first year at 80% to the assigned agent, and renewals at 50%. And then add recipient to set the next commission split. So let's say we'll give 10% to the assigned agent's upline agency, or maybe a specific team member or specific agency. Let's do Best Insurance Ever, which is the top level agency that I've set up. Add recipient again, and the other 10% will go to the assigned agent's agency. Update split. Now let's add another factor in here. Hit the plus sign to add another level to this table. So this time it's still for the same effective year, but now the custom field cell table values are going to be for agent of record change and plan switch. And that will make this first year commission $315 and the renewal amount $315. Add in splits if you like. Now, you can get wild with this. You can also add another structure to this. So at this level we just created would be the default level. But let's say you have a downline agency or a user that's playing by a different set of rules. We can set up their commission splits differently. So now, for the same products, if one of their agents sells this product, the commission splits are $10 to the agent and the remainder is split between the agency and its upline. People also use the matrices for plans that have variables like riders or product qualifiers and much more. The possibilities are endless and mind-numbing. So, if you have specific needs, feel free to hit us up in the Help app with your specific examples and tell us what's not working for you. We'll review and get back to you with our best advice. Let's quickly go over some available product customizations. There are more specific videos on each steps, so this is going to be a brief overview. Available product customizations. Policy status options. To change policy status options, go to Settings. Policy status options. You can add or edit the options you want to display. Decide whether the status should generate commission projections or not. In force? Yup. Terminated? Nope. The sort order is related to the order you'll see the status options displayed in when selecting from the product status drop-down list. Save if you're editing, or hit Create if it's a new status you've added. Policy dates. Go to Settings. Email, columns, calendar, and other. Scroll down to Custom Dates. Enter in a custom date. For example, term date. Set it for Record Policies Only. You're terminating the policy, not the client. Or claim date. Again, set it for Record Policies Only. If you sell group policies, you could potentially have employee start date as record only. But if you want to track the employee waiting period on the policy and the record, choose both. Coverage types. You can add, edit, or delete coverage types in Settings, Coverage Types, and Custom Data fields. Policy Custom Fields. Go to Settings, Coverage Types, and Custom Data fields. Scroll down to Policies Custom Fields. Add any extra fields you need for policies here. You can also create drop-down and multi-select options in the Create drop-down option. For more details, please view the Custom Fields video. Wrap up. If you have questions, please create a tech ticket in the Help app with specific information on what you're trying to accomplish, and we'll advise. If there's an actual issue, please provide the client name and the details on the issue so that we can research it for you.